Welcome to Longdo Dictionary AI Deep Dive, where we take everyday English phrases and really break them down.
Yeah.
And today, we are diving into a phrase that can help you sound more natural.
Okay.
More fluent when you speak English.
I like it.
So what is it about today's phrase that you find so fascinating?
Well, what I find really fascinating is how this phrase reveals about English-speaking cultures.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got me hooked.
Okay, good.
What is the phrase?
The phrase is have your back.
Okay.
HAVEYOURBACK.
Have your back.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, at first glance, that seems pretty literal. Like,
Yes.
am I actually standing behind someone?
Yeah, you would think, right?
Right.
And that's where it gets interesting for English language learners because it's not about physical position at all. It's a way of saying, I support you, or I'm on your side no matter what. It's a promise.
So if a friend is nervous about a job interview, I could say, don't worry, I have your back.
Exactly.
Oh.
You're not literally standing behind them, but you're offering your support, your encouragement.
Okay, that's really helpful. It seems so much stronger than just saying good luck or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, break.
Cool. Right. Break
That's
a
my
leg.
word.
Yeah, you've hit on something key there, right? Have your back suggests you're not just wishing them well.
Right.
You're willing to help them face whatever comes their way.
Oh.
So there's action behind it.
I see. So there's this sense of like being ready to act, not just offer words.
Precisely.
Okay.
Which is why understanding its origin, I think, can be so illuminating.
Okay.
The phrase actually comes from a much more literal place, the battlefield.
Oh, wow. The battlefield.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so imagine, if you will, soldiers in a battle, a battle fighting.
Yeah.
The most dangerous position to be in is to have your back exposed to the enemy.
Right? Makes sense. You can't see an attack coming.
Right. So in that context, to have someone's back meant literally watching out for them, protecting them from threats they couldn't see.
Wow. So this phrase we use so casually today, it has its roots in life or death situations.
I know, it's amazing.
That adds a whole other layer to it.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And it's amazing how that very specific meaning born on the battlefield evolved into the way we use have your back today.
That's what I'm curious about. How did it make that leap from a war zone to everyday conversations?
Well, language is always adapting, finding new ways to express our experiences.
Yeah.
And as soldiers came home from war, they carried this phrase with them. And, even in civilian life, we often talk about challenges as if they were battles.
Oh, absolutely. Work was a battle today. Things like that.
Exactly. So imagine someone saying, hey, I know you're stressed about this presentation. Don't worry, I have your back. It evokes that same feeling of support of someone watching out for you, even if there's no literal danger.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
It's like saying, I'm in your corner, but with this extra history, this weight behind it.
You've got it. And that weight is what makes it so powerful for English language learners to understand, because it goes beyond simple support. Have your back implies a deeper understanding of vulnerability and a commitment to being there, even if things get tough.
That nuance is so important, especially for someone new to the language. So we know have your back is one way to express that strong support. Are there other phrases that convey a similar meaning?
Absolutely. English is full of ways to say, I'm there for you. I've got you is a big one. Apostrophe VEGOTYOU. That's very similar to have your back, conveying that willingness to help no matter what.
So if I was talking to a friend who is nervous about a big decision, I could say, hey, I've got you whatever you decide.
Perfect example. It tells them you're right there with them through thick and thin.
Okay. What about other phrases I've heard, I'm with you, used in a similar way?
That's a good one to point out. I'm with you does communicate support.
Okay.
But it has a slightly different shade of meaning. It suggests more of a shared understanding, a sense of solidarity.
So it's less about taking action and more about empathy.
Exactly. It's like saying, I understand where you're coming from. I support your perspective, even if you're not directly involved in solving the problem.
These subtle differences are so fascinating. It's like each phrase unlocks a different aspect of support.
That's the beauty of language. And mastering these subtleties is a huge step in really sounding natural in English.
Right.
We've got have your back, I've got you, I'm with you. Any others come to mind?
One more I could think of is you can COUNT on me, count on me. That one seems pretty direct.
It is you can count on me is a very straightforward way of saying you're reliable and supportive. It's a promise, plain and simple.
So if a friend was moving to a new city and needed help, I might say, you can count on me to help you pack.
Exactly. It removes any doubt, offering reassurance and practical support.
This is so helpful. We've covered have your back, I've got you, I'm with you, and you can count on me. It's like a whole toolkit for expressing support in English.
And a powerful one at that, because when used authentically, each of these phrases can strengthen relationships and build trust.
I completely agree. So to bring it back to our main phrase, how would you recommend someone use have your back in different contexts? Like how does it sound in a work setting versus with friends?
That's a great question. Let's explore that.
Right before the break, we were talking about how to use have your back in different situations.
Yeah.
Like at work versus with friends. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, you're right. Context is everything. At work, have your back can be a really powerful way to build trust and camaraderie among colleagues.
I can see that. It's like saying, we're in this together.
Precisely. Imagine a new coworker is feeling overwhelmed. You could say, hey, don't stress, I've got your back on this project. Let me know if you need anything.
That's such a good example.
Yeah.
It instantly makes them feel supported and less alone.
Exactly. And in a professional setting, that can make a huge difference in terms of morale and productivity. People are more likely to take risks and be innovative when they know they have a safety net.
It creates that sense of psychological safety that's so important for good teamwork.
Absolutely. Now shift gears to a friendship. Have your back takes on an even deeper meaning, wouldn't you say?
I think so, because those relationships are built on a foundation of trust and loyalty.
Exactly. So if a close friend is going through a tough breakup, you might say, listen, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I've got your back.
That's powerful. It goes beyond just offering advice. It's about being a true source of support during a difficult time.
And that kind of support, that willingness to be there no matter what, is invaluable in any relationship. It's the bedrock of deep, meaningful connections.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel like we've gone beyond just defining have your back. We've uncovered its nuances and cultural weight.
And for English language learners, that's key. Because it's not enough to just know the words. It's about understanding how and when to use them to truly connect with others.
Couldn't agree more. So to sum it all up, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember about have your back?
That it's a phrase that signifies deep support, loyalty, and a willingness to be there for someone no matter what. It's a promise and a powerful one at that.
Beautifully said. So listeners, the next time you want to offer someone your unwavering support, remember the power of have your back. And remember, as you learn English, don't be afraid to try out these phrases to experiment and see how they feel. That's the best way to make them your own.
And who knows, you might just find yourself building stronger, more meaningful connections along the way.
That's it for today's deep dive into the phrase, have your back. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the nuances of this common yet powerful expression, and that you'll join us next time for another fascinating language adventure. Until then, keep those connections strong.